Long straight-in shots are feared by many players, and for good reason. It shows the flaws in the foundation of our game. We can't blame our miss on a skidding ball or not being able to see the angle. In this video, I'm going to discuss two of the most common reasons players miss these shots, why players find cut shots easier to make than these long straight-in shots, and finally, how to consistently make them. If you are having trouble with aiming these though, what you can do is use the ghost ball method and just make the object ball your actual ghost ball. This will result in a full hit and it should go perfectly straight. Since knowing where to aim isn't an issue because all you have to do is hit this ball full on, there are really only two reasons for missing this shot. Either the delivery of your cue through the cue ball was bad, or you're putting unintended left to right spin on the cue ball, maybe even both. Either one of these is not only detrimental to pocketing this shot, but also to your entire game. Think about it. If you can't even make a straight-in shot with the way that you're shooting, how many other shots are you missing due to the same flaws in your game? It's the most basic part of pool, hitting a ball accurately, and if you can't do that, you'll never be a good player. First, let's talk about bad delivery of the cue through the cue ball. There are numerous reasons you might have a poor delivery, but what it really comes down to is, are you able to send the cue straight through the cue ball accurately and consistently? If the answer is no, then you have some kind of flaws in your fundamentals. Your stance may be throwing you off balance, maybe you have some head movement whenever you shoot. Perhaps your grip is too tight, maybe you need to work on your backswing and delivery. The second and more common reason that players miss this shot is due to an error in vertical axis perception. Essentially, players think that they're aiming at the center axis of the cue ball, but they're actually aiming slightly off the true vertical axis, so that when they do shoot the cue ball, it ends up with some unintended left to right spin. This slight and unintended amount of left to right is exacerbated by a straight-in ball, because throw-on in the object ball is at its greatest when hitting a ball straight in. If you hit with a bit of left, the object ball is thrown to the right, and if you hit with a bit of right, the object ball is thrown to the left. A lot of players will complain that they can easily make a cut shot, but they miss these straight-in shots, and this is why. First of all, typically you'll be putting some type of spin on the cue ball whenever you're doing a cut shot to control where the cue ball goes off the rail. This means that you already plan to hit with some right or left and have already corrected for it. Additionally, even if you don't plan to use any side spin, the effects of a slight left or right aren't going to be nearly as exacerbated as with a straight-in shot, which means that you still have a good chance at making this ball. So how do you fix this? Well, I can tell you from first-hand experience that it isn't going to be fun, but I promise you that once you get this figured out, you'll see a huge improvement in your game. If you are a newer player, the first thing that you should do is make sure you can at least shoot the cue ball in a specific point in the pocket. If you are able to do that, move on to bouncing the cue ball between the long rails and back to your cue tip. And after that, move on to bouncing the cue ball between the short rails and back to your cue tip. I recommend placing the cue ball along a line between the two center diamonds. If the cue ball is coming back to the left or the right of the cue, then you know that you have some unintended English on the cue ball. I would say that as long as the cue ball runs into your tip, it was a successful attempt. Once you are successfully able to do this, the next thing that you need to do is start setting up these straight shots and only shooting them, and I mean a lot of them. Move on to shorter straight shots and make sure that you can stop the cue ball perfectly with no spin. And finally move on to shooting longer and longer straight-in shots and make sure that you get the cue ball to stop with no left or right spin. What I did personally was dedicate the first 30 minutes to 1 hour of each of my practice sessions to shooting only this straight-in shot. I did this for 1 month and my improvement was significant. When I first started, I noticed that I would end up with a slight amount of left-hand English almost every time that I shot, and I would actually only make about 60 to 70% of the shots. At first, I thought this was some type of error in my stroke, but it turned out to be vertical axis perception error. As the month went on, I was able to slowly adjust my aiming point on the cue ball and started choking up on the cue just a hair. By the end of the month, I could easily pocket 20 of these in a row. It was crazy how much my accuracy and shot making improved over the course of a month. Shots that I felt would have been a coin flip before, I felt favored to make.